Hi guys, your boy Grizzly here. Let me welcome you to the latest patch notes review from yesterday's Grinding Gear game stream hosted by Dark Microtransaction and Gazi TV. Shoutouts to them because they did a great job hosting this event, and to Mark and Jonathan from Grinding Gear Games as well, who were there to deliver a lot of information regarding the upcoming game changes. Um, I've tried to summarize the information there, and let me tell you, it was a huge bunch of, information pile there. So I was really facing the challenge to make this video as short as possible. So I just added a few points there, a few key points there. One is gonna be the introduction. That's gonna be the summary of the 7-minute video GGG played in the beginning of the stream, in which they explained the key changes while showing some animations and gameplay. So the second one is the meeting minutes with Jonathan and Mark. And I've dropped a lot of points there because I tried to, just put the most important stuff to me. And also, some of these things I left for the final part of the video, in which I'm gonna show you my personal key takeaways. Bear with me because there are gonna be some interesting takeaways here. There's gonna be some interesting inputs, even some of them a little bit speculative about what I think it should be done here. There's gonna be the rapid fire section summarized when the community has asked their questions using the tribune provided by Dia and Gazi. So I suggest we start with the introduction first. During the 7-minute video, we've seen a lot of endgame changes. Most of these were visibility and quality of life upgrades. Here, for example, for the endgame maps, we now will have zoom out option. We'll now be able to encounter more bosses. They said that they're buffing essences and strong boxes. There'll be a better monster density. Chest loot will be buffed. More yellow and blue rare monsters will be appearing on your maps. And again, more boss maps will be encountered. Because the original intention here was 1 out of every 4 maps to be having a boss, but as you can see, this is not the case right now. So they kind of buffed this as well. They also said that they're adding a map biome here. Biome means basically terrain and environment in the map. This will be listed right under the name tag of the map. For example, if it's the map Oasis, it's gonna be tagged with deserted or coastal or something like this. This is very useful because if you haven't blasted through all the maps, and if you don't know them by heart, you just be able to get this information summarized before you plug in the key there. All right, so moving on. They said that they're gonna make on-ground effects, explosions, and projectiles a little bit more visible now. They've even had to readjust some of the clutter level on the maps. So in this way, it could be more visible, which is great change, to be honest. And finally, we have updates on the citadels. Now, I've heard and listened to so many conspiracy theories in this week. There were so many fun things and inputs by a lot of content creators and random people playing the game. The truth is that citadels are completely RNG, and you have to grind in order to find them. But this has been changed now, because the citadels will be more centered, more centrally located in the atlas, and they will be visible with a single white beam appearing on your map. Even if there is a fog and if you haven't uncovered the area yet, you still be able to see the white beam dropping down and pointing at the citadel, which is a great win. We should be happy with this. One of the biggest news today, I think that this might actually be like #1 news to most of the players out there. Console players will finally be able to get loot filter How much better can it get? I mean, for console players, I've seen so many people posting their videos from their breach runs and juice maps, and there were like item tags everywhere. I'm getting a headache just by watching it. Can't imagine what is it like, playing this and trying to find if you haven't missed any divine orb or some other valuable currency or item there. So yeah, loot filter is absolutely necessary in the end game. Doesn't matter if you're playing on PC or on console. And I'm very happy. Congrats to you, console players. Moving on, item changes that they said are going to happen and gonna take place in the next map patch. One of the most important things here is that you're gonna get better and more useful stats on your items. There's not gonna be that much damage on Tuesdays. D4 reference here, KEKW. There's not gonna be that many affixes that are random or not that much desire. So they've improved this, especially on higher tier items. I mean, it's just gonna feel a different way when you get dropped a higher base item with some nicely rolled affixes. All right, so they said that they're thinking of changing the tiering concept. Right now it's between 1 and 12, 12 being the highest one. I'm talking about the prefixes and suffixes on the items, basically. So they're gonna be revert this tier concept back to PoE1 when tier 1 is like the highest tier the item could get. They're gonna buff the uniques because as you can see, most of you probably already know this, but like 95% of the uniques are complete and utter trash, and they're not even, most of them are not even good for leveling. And the ones that are good are usually very, very hard to get, or they're like broken, like completely broken. So yeah, this is a good thing to see because now you're finally gonna get excited, even if you're leveling and get a unique drop. You will feel the difference. You will feel that it's nice to have a unique that's gonna have some more powerful stats. One of the best and maybe the biggest change here, biggest improvement here is that you now can remove or swap the socketed runes on your items, which is perfect. So far, there wasn't a way to do this. I can imagine that you found a godly item, but you really need a particular stat or res row until you gear up a little bit more and you want to be able to reuse that item. So yeah, it only makes sense that you are able to change runes, right? They said that they're now adding boss tablets, so that's another way to add bosses to your maps and to juice them up a little bit more, which is perfect. They said that they're adding a new tower maps. They're gonna be called Alpine Ridge, Sinking Spire, Bluff, and Mesa. They've also redesigned existing tower maps for more layout diversity because their current layout isn't very efficient. Yes, you can speed through them, and usually this is what you do. My least favorite maps are the tower maps because you can't really juice them up and you look at them just some kind of mandatory chores that you have to do in order to get this tablet slot in which you can juice up the surrounding maps. So there we go. Buffs to other endgame systems are going to happen. For instance, guys, Breach is like the best endgame mode right now, so they left this out of the equation, which is fine. And I'm pretty surprised that they're not gonna nerf it, which is great. Also, they're buffing the Delirium a bit more because Simulacrum shards drop rate in the beginning is very bad, and especially if you haven't done much, mirrors of Delirium, you don't really get any drops if you haven't invested in the Atlas tree there. So this is good. This is good. This is really nice way to incentivize the early end game progress there. They've boosted the expedition, but more like in the shop when you go back to town and you want to exchange your expedition artifact currencies there to get better items. There are going to be more rare items, basically. The rituals will now provide more omens. More omens are interesting kind of currencies that going to, help you. They have variety of effects. Rituals are going to be providing more omens in your ritual tribute window, which is great. About the pinnacle boss fights, I was expecting that they will provide a little bit more information. So basically, the topic started when a lot of broken builds were able to enter a boss fight and just one shot the boss and go out. They said exclusively that the boss fight, the pinnacle boss fight, should be something between 2 and 3 minutes long. So there wouldn't be a way to just to one shot a boss, and the idea is to be a challenging content. You have to dodge specific boss mechanics and stuff like this. They made an improvement for the Arbiter Vash pinnacle boss here. On the first tier of difficulty, you'll be starting with up to 6 respawn attempts, which is great. This way, you can reattempt the boss a few times, and also if you're playing in a party, you'll be able to, respawn other players as well. They did a lot of boss and master balancing. There's gonna be less one-shot mechanics. They also trying to buff armor, scavenged plating, things like that, because they are quite underperforming comparing to, evasion rating and energy shield builds. All right, moving on with the meeting minutes. Like I said, I've selected only a few points here. So they talked about monster balance, density in different maps, different quality of life changes, balance the effect of waystones affixes because they're too penalizing right now. They talked about the different varieties, map layouts. Like, for example, there are a few maps that I completely hate, and those are like the Valve Factory and the Augury, and I believe Slick is the other one. So these maps are quite bad because they have doors in them. They have those tiny corridors. They're really, really not efficient. You can't really farm efficiently there. So I'm pretty sure like 90% of people agree with me, and I couldn't hear if they discussed something, some alternatives, like they're gonna remove doors in RPG games. Again, people like Rax who are saying that doors are like the worst thing in an RPG game. I completely agree with you. Please, GGG, hear us out. Remove doors finally. The crafting system, they covered a little bit more on the crafting system, because right now you don't really have a crafting system. What you have is basically lottery. And by saying lottery, it is exactly, a lottery. What everyone is doing on a standard league right now basically is saving all their currency in order to get to go to the PoE2 trade website and buy whatever they want there. No one wants to spend currency on crafting. And for example, whoever watched my stream knows that I like to craft a lot, even though that there's like almost a zero chance that I'm gonna get anything good. But still, it just feels another way to be able to hit this RNG and just to get something good out of crafting, right? So they have to improve this. They have to add a variety of ways of crafting, not just add orbs to get more affixes on items. They said that they're working on this. They're trying to balance things out and to buff this a little bit more. They talked a bit about the one-time Steam breach that happened. Basically, they've explained, long story short, an admin account got hacked, and then a small leakage of other accounts happened as well. It was all handled long time ago, and that's why they are now figuring out how to put a two-factor authentication verification system to come in place. They said that there will be one very soon, but they're just, figuring out a way to implement it. A lot of people want to know what's coming next. They want to be a little bit more information about what to expect. And what can we see in the future? They're asking for a roadmap, something like a more transparency on GGG side. So they said that they're working on this. That's the idea in general is to provide more information in the near future. They mentioned something about the unique equipment being unique, so that's why they want to restrict the numbers of unique you could wear. I'm not 100% sure if I heard correctly, but they will be implementing this soon. I'm not sure if there's gonna be like 2 or 3 uniques of restriction. But again, this is interesting. It's an interesting concept. Oh yeah, about the charm affixes, the plus charm slots affixes, they said that they're buffing this because me personally, I only got it like twice. This plus charm affixes. Once it was +2, but the other time it was +1, and both of these items were complete garbage, So they're gonna buff this. They also mentioned that the charm implementation is quite new to them, so they haven't polished this one. There's a lot of work coming up on this, and not everything is working as intended and as expected, which is fair enough. Again, they covered that strong boxes and SSS got buffed. Strong boxes right now are awful. It's gonna be less laggy, I believe they said, and they're also gonna provide more drops. Master will spawn faster, and they're also gonna be more like crazy loot, not just the quantity on the quantity side, but on the quality side as well. They also mentioned that a lot of players haven't really felt good progressing through the end game and getting to pinnacle bosses as well. There's a lot of players who are having hard time transitioning between campaign and end game. So they mentioned a lot of waystones, lack of waystones, issues and things like this. So this will also be fixed. They're gonna buff this a bit up. They're gonna make it a little bit more smoother experience. And they also mentioned that their challenges are quite boring. They said that they're gonna invest more in experimenting. They're gonna get crazier with this. Let's see what exactly will they do here. And yeah, things like this. They also said that limit to deaths should stay at 1. They specifically mentioned that they want to emphasize the value of and the importance of the survivability of your characters. They've discussed that they're thinking of going like adding checkpoints to map, because right now mapping is not as pleasant experience. So that's what they're thinking, that they should add some more checkpoints when you can, just teleport through. Which one is great. And one big update, this is expected. There will be a a waystone stash tab coming soon. So there's always they talked about some unintended mechanics with skill and support gems. They're gonna be fixing this. This could be a topic for a separate conversation. I don't want to waste more time on this right now because it's already a long video. And now moving on to the rapid fire section, when these are like questions that were asked by the community through DM and Gazi. And here is what we have. There will be soon an Atlas search feature. The tornado bird in the ultimatum was a little bit bugged, like the tornado was one-shotting characters during the trial, and it was very, very frustrating, failing the trials because of this tornado bird. GG has told us that this is now fixed. The tornado is now nerfed. About the action house, we're not getting anything here. So yeah. In the ultimatum, another ultimatum change is that red and green colors here are going to be more visible. They tweaked them a little bit, so you can see more of the effects coming happening on the map. People were asking if they can deactivate or turn down other players' visuals. So GG told us that they're working on this. It will be discussed. This seemed like a fair thing. I've even mentioned it, and a lot of people and content creators are mentioning it since the first patch notes, that we should get this quality of life improvement, because it's not only on the visual aspect here is being affected, but as well the resources on your graphics card and processor. And it is rough playing in a party, so there will be more options to tune down some settings, and you won't be bombarded with a lot of visuals. You'll be soon be able to gamble in the hideout. So far, most of you guys know that in the hideouts, when you have alpha there, you can't really use it for nothing else but currency exchange. So we're gonna have this one soon. Some people ask that argue that movement speed should be implicit on the boots. And GGG has disagreed here, and they said that it's not a necessary affix, but it's an affix that you have to hunt and you have to look out for. So yeah, they discussed the body blocking on co-op. GGG told us that some of the body blocking is intended, other isn't, so they're still figuring this one out. By the way, there was I forgot to mention it here, but there was a discussion on some range builds and some minion builds as well. There was a huge problem with the minion block on the minion build, and that in some tighter maps the minions are just inadequate and they can just be that efficient and can't follow through. So they tried a few bug fixes, but they didn't work out for them. So they are figuring out a new solution in which they will be able to provide it as an option to the players, in which they can turn on this option, and they're just gonna have this their FPS dropped a bit, but in the same time they will be able to provide data to GGG so they can resolve this problem, which is great. People are asking about the cosmetics from PoE1, and they said that they will move the cosmetics by the end of early access, or for the actual release on the game. The cosmetics should be there. So this is great news. And this is pretty much everything. The whole summary of the live stream yesterday. For those of you who have survived it, will now have the privilege of just see my personal overview and key takeaways on some of these topics. In general, this was a Giga patch. I'm very, very pleased with it. There's mostly positive changes. To be honest, I was expecting a little bit more nerfs and killed builds after the patch, but this was not the case. Instead, there's gonna be a lot of balance changes and quality of life improvements. Now, there are a few topics that I'd like to discuss here, because most of them were mentioned on the live stream, but I don't think that they've been explored enough. So, for example, the magic find, or the official name is the official abbreviation here is the increased rarity of items found. Right now, everyone is trying to squeeze this in their builds, because it's affecting not only gear drops, but currency drops as well. And whoever played Diablo 2, sorry for the Diablo reference again, but I mean, this is my own experience. What can I say? I mean, I have to put it out like this. So in Diablo 2, it's very interesting, because the magic find doesn't really affect your runes drop. For example, if you want to farm a jar rune, you can't rely on magic find. You have to grind, right? And it's just RNG. That's it, pure RNG. Like some other things here, like finding a specific unique item or a better rolled item, it should be completely tied to the magic find stat you have. So that's perfectly fine with me. I don't know. They said that they're gonna keep it this way for now, but I think it could be a better balancing option to leave the currency out of it. So let me know what you guys think here, because I'm not really sure if it should be left like this. Also, they covered this interesting topic about the divine's actual worth. Uh, Now, before I state my opinion here, you know that the divine orb is like the measurement for something extremely rare, extremely valuable. But when you think of what it's actually doing, it's again tied to a lot of RNG. So, is it really worth it to be, to use one divine on an item? And currently, 99.9% of the people, I'm pretty sure, like 99% 0.9% of the people are using divines only for trading or for currency exchange, because this is in generally the $100 bill of the game. If the exalt orb is the $1 bill, then the divine orb is the $100 bill, and people just want to keep it, or they're just trying to get as much as they can selling it. Here's the thing: do you think that divine orb would be would justify its value if it wasn't predefinite from PoE1? What do you think? If it wasn't that valuable in PoE1 as a currency item, would it have the same value? This is something to think about. Just a food for thought here, guys. And another topic is the ascendancies. Jonathan and Mark, they said that the final set of ascendancies should be achievable by the above average player. So, okay, this is an interesting concept. It's fine with me if they want to make it challenging. Most of you would probably agree with this, but what about some other people who are like, I don't know, some gamer dads who don't have the time to just to invest in watching guides and to invest a little bit more in their character and playing with their character to be able to unlock more end game content. What do you think? I mean, for the blasters, this is absolutely mandatory, right? This is something you have to get. Like, this is you cannot go without this. If you wanna be achieving success throughout the end game, you cannot be left without ascendancy points, right? Even if you have 6 out of 10, out of 8, you still won't be able to continue, right? So I think that maybe the solution here is, why not make a separate league for more casual players, for like let's say, people who can spend like no more than 2 or 3 hours a week to play the game, and this way for a few months they can still get to the end game experience, and they can still get to fight a pinnacle boss or fully unlock their tree and everything. I'm not even saying that they should be able to get to level 100, but at least give them something to give them a chance, give them a chance to be able to fight for it. All right, so that's my takeaway here. They said that they're absolutely not looking into the direction of ascendancy class being switched through. So basically, once you choose your ascendancy class, the only way to change it is to make another character and start leveling up from the beginning. I'm not sure what to think here. It's early access game. Like I said, a lot of people can't invest and they want to experiment. So maybe I'm a bit more like 50-50 here, to be honest with you. Uh, Let me know what you guys think here. And another thing here is dying on a map completely deletes your progress. And they said that they don't want to give you a second chance. Why can't they be like a workaround? Let's say you have a free respawn once every 5 maps, right? So let's say you complete 4 maps, and on the 5th map you die. It was some kind of accident, some mechanic you didn't see, or something that's bugged, or some off-screen effect, because there's like countless cases in which people didn't know or didn't realize what they died from. What do you think? Why not give us one extra life? For like 5 maps, you have to complete another 5 maps in order to survive. Because right now, some people are afraid to juice up their maps because they could get killed. Even if they can clear like 99% of the content, there's still that 1% that could kill you. Why not figure out a way? I mean, of course, a lot of people would be against it. A lot of people would say that there will be probably exploits to that, and I'm pretty sure that this is like one of the arguments. So it's just a food for thought. Like I said, the same for the magic find and the divine orb topic. So I hope you guys like this video, and I would really appreciate if you comment on this, if you give it a like, if you subscribe and follow this channel, because I'm trying to do the best I can, and then I'm just trying to be here for you guys. And thanks so much. Shout out once again to GGG, DM, and Gazi for the great job yesterday. I enjoyed watching this stream. I couldn't feel, those 2.5 hours that have passed. So yeah, Grizzly out, guys.